but just assume you're live.
All right. We're live.
We're live. I just can't see it yet. My screen completely left for a second. It has to go all the way to Facebook. All right. So we are live today. Super excited to have Bryan Whitehurst, Mike Grossman on the show. Welcome, guys.
Hi, Ted.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Good. Doing well, thanks.
Yeah? Okay, good. Well, I want to deep dive into Orlando Tip Pool, but I want to make sure that we are live, and we are. So that is good. And now I can keep an eye on the comments there. All done. All right. So
okay.
That's the only part I don't like about it, is that there's that teeny 1 minute or less delay where I have to not pay attention to you guys. Okay. So
sounds fun.
Give us a little, we like a little origin story. You don't have to take too much of a deep dive, especially when there's two of you on there. And I really want to talk about Orlando Tip Pool. We'll start with Bryan. Tell us a little bit about you.
Actually, I'll defer to Mike since Mike's the creator of this. So I was brought on as kind of a operating or really a supporting partner because he really needed a platform to launch this on. So Big Bite Media, my team of great developers, very talented, came kind of, this all came into fruition within 48, 72 hours. So Mike was like, hey, can you do this? I need this by, I need this within 72 hours or sooner. I'm like, sure, no problem. So he really just threw the concept at me and gave me a couple of his ideas and some content. And we got it done in 48 hours, Mike?
Yeah, yeah, it was unbelievable.
I want to deep dive on that, but to start with you, Bryan, though, I wanted the people that don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
Okay. Well, those of you that don't know me, which is kind of odd to find these days in Orlando, as you know, Ted, but my name is Bryan Whitehurst. I'm the owner and founder of Big Bite Media. I've been practicing I've been my business in Orlando for about 10 years now. I worked in medicine before, and I was a VP for a couple of different companies, Fortune 500 companies, and then got laid off back in 2009 during our last recession, and just needed to find something, going from a six-figure job to a zero-figure job. And with no jobs available, it made it kind of tough. So really reached out to my contacts and some great friends that I developed over time. And they really helped me out and pushed me into this marketing world. And I'm self-taught, as I tell everybody. So a lot of people go to school for marketing and branding. And I went to Bryan Whitehurst School of Hard Knocks Marketing and Branding and watched tons of YouTube videos and learned from a lot of people. I reached out to marketing, literally marketing executives, and said, hey, teach me this. How did you learn this? And I learned from a lot of great people that I'm still friends with today. And here I am now.
Love it. All right. Thank you. How about you, Mike Grossman? Tell us a little bit about you.
Hey, Ted. I'm an attorney in Orlando, just south of downtown. Before I was an attorney, I was a server and a bartender. I worked my way through college and law school in the hospitality industry. And then after becoming an attorney, I focused my practice on representing folks in the hospitality industry. And so when the governor's shutdown was announced a couple weeks ago for the bars and restaurants, you can imagine just what a cataclysmic shock that was to people in the industry. Not only was I in the industry and represent them, but most of my closest friends are people I met in the industry. And I was just inundated with phone calls and emails of people panicking. What do we do? What do we do? How do we collect unemployment? Can we collect unemployment? What happens when that's not enough to pay our bills? And I was sitting outside my firm with one of our other attorneys, and I said, you know what, it's too bad they can't just do it like a tip pool. A tip pool is when you work in restaurants. A tip pool is when you take all the tips, you collect them into a pool, and then you share them all equally, at the end of the night. So I said, it's a shame we don't starting like an Orlando tip pool, a citywide tip pool where people can donate money, and then it gets divided among people who lost their jobs. And my associate looks at me and he said, I think you should reschedule or drop everything you're working on in the next 2 weeks and do exactly that. And at first I thought he was being sarcastic. And I was like, okay, smart guy. I'm not, and he said, no, I'm being 1,000% serious. Our clients need this. The city needs it. No one else is doing it. I went and checked out the domain name for OrlandoTipPool.com. It was available. And then the first thing I did was call Bryan and his team at Big Mike Media. And I was like, Bryan, we've got this great idea, but we have no idea how to execute on it. Would you and your company be willing to jump on board? And he said, absolutely. And worked on it nonstop for the next 48 hours. And they had one of the best websites. I can't even believe how good this website is. Nevertheless, the fact they did it in 2 days is absolutely incredible. And then we start the ball rolling, and now we're collecting donations. We're really trying to get a lot of business donors on board more than anything else.
How does it work, Mike? So people that want to donate, that know what's going on in the restaurant world, in the hospitality world, they can come on either as an individual or a business sponsor and then put money into Orlando Tip Pool.
Yeah, well, one of the benefits of our fundraiser is that 100% of the funds collected are going to recipients. We're not paying a staff out of this money. Me and Bryan are certainly not collecting out of this anything. In fact, the first two $1,000 donations are coming from my company, Grossman Law, and Bryan's company, Big Bite Media. So it's a completely volunteer network. And we're looking for businesses that, if the fact that it's doing the right thing and helping a really important cause isn't good enough, we have some advertising benefits to offer you as well. If you're willing to make certain donations, we can offer you space on our website, which, due to the brilliant management of Bryan and his team, is getting more than 1,000 hits a day. So wow. You'll get your logo on the page as a supporting partner. So when people check out the webpage, they're going to see that you're there to support our Orlando community. And then also we have certain donation levels. You'll get free legal services from Grossman Law, free SEO work from Bryan and his team at Big Bite Media, website design. We're really doing everything we can to incentivize businesses jumping on board for this cause.
Love it. All right, so the big question, once people start watch the show and really start to realize that this is such an amazing concept and a big help, how do people who want to be helped get in touch? What's the process?
If you want to be helped, if you go to www.orlandotippool.com, you'll see a couple different places where you just click on register as donation recipient. We do go through a verification process, so we don't have to worry about things like fraud, where applicants need to provide a pay stub as well as an employer verification sheet, which not only confirms that you've worked in the industry in February and March, but that you've lost at least 50% or more of your shifts as a result of the shutdowns.
Sure. Which in reality, everybody, unless you're one of the lucky ones who's working curbside all the time, you're gonna, if you're in the industry, you're gonna be dealing with that. I get a lot of people messaging me wanting to figure out how they can get help. There's a lot of opportunity out there, but there's nothing structured just for Orlando. So I absolutely love the concept. What about people who want to give in kind, like you were talking about, you and Bryan are doing? If you donate a certain amount, then a company can donate their services or provide you something because of that donation.
Yeah, all they can do, if they want to become a business supporting partner, we would ask that they either shoot an email to me, which is on the website, or you can always call our law firm, 407-601-0024, and we'll set up a time to chat. And it's not just about getting your company's name out there, and it's not just about collecting donations. It's also about forming a network of partners, of business partners around the city, where when these things happen, we take care of our community. Every one of us, in whatever our business is, has benefited from the hospitality industry, whether Absolutely. It's taking a client out to dinner and receiving exceptional service, or going somewhere to a concert, or in a million different ways. We're a hospitality city. That's what Orlando is. And we grow together, we live together, and we fall together. And so I think it's really important for businesses to jump on board so we can keep everyone in our community healthy. What's good for one part of our community is good for all of our community.
Agreed. I just think it's so cool. People are coming together. You having that idea, there's so many amazing ideas, I think, out there where people are just trying to figure out, especially while we have the time, trying to figure out how to help those in need. And there are so many people in need. The amount of phone calls and messages I get to talk about, especially on the restaurant and hospitality side, people are just suffering. The small business owners can't keep the servers on, and yet they have rent due, they have things that they have to pay. And if they shut completely down, they've lost out on money, and they're impacting all the families that worked for the restaurants. So it's such a crazy little world we live in right now. So what are you doing? I'm going to go back to Bryan. Bryan, what are you doing to stay positive? What are you doing creative? I mean, you're kind of you're a positive guy. What are the things that you do? I think people are looking for, hey, that's a cool idea. This is something I could do.
I mean, what I do is forever evolving. I still have a few clients. We work with a few national clients right now, writing a lot of content. And it's really focused on addiction centers and addiction treatment for substance abuse. Something we've been writing a lot about right now, as far as on the creative side, is how to, if you are, somebody that's suffering from substance abuse problems or the disease of alcoholism or anything like that, it's coming up with creative ideas and creative ways to keep your mind busy during this time of confinement and quarantine. A lot of times, with no matter what type of mental illness or mental disease or anything that people have right now, being confined, and I'll admit this, and I've made posts about it before, is something that I've suffered from all my life, is depression and anxiety. So being quarantined and not being able to do something that's in my routine really gets my mind too focused on the negative. So I have to constantly fill myself with positive stuff, whether it's watching positive videos or creating great things for my clients, or coming up with creative ways for Orlando Tip Pool to grow. One of the things that we've done is ever evolve the website. We've made it very simplified. A lot of the questions that have come up in the very beginning that I've talked to Mike about is, one thing is security. That's the most common question, is all my personal information is going on there, or I'm donating money on a website. How do I know it's secure? Well, we've created security measures on our website, on Orlando Tip Pool website, to make sure that your information is secure. Your credit card information is secure. Everything is secure, so that you don't have to worry about anything when it comes to that. So all the forms, a lot of the questions that came out about the forms. So we had to create some different ways for people to download the forms or be able to fill out the form and get to their employer. One of the commonalities was Disney. They're completely shut down. Their HR is shut down, nothing. So a lot of the questions that I sent over to Mike was, how do we get this verified? And,
Sure.
Talking with Mike and everything else, we created a simplified way for them to download the form, fill it out. And, they sent us different ways to get in touch with certain people with Disney corporate. And that's what Mike's team does, right now. So it's really just, I really, on the creative side, I get a lot of questions every day, Ted. I got 5, requests yesterday. People sent me logos. Hey, I want to do this with my company. I created this thing for, kind of bringing people together, and they want to create these t-shirts, and what do you think of this logo and stuff like that? So those are the things that I love, is people to send me ideas so that I can, kind of keep my creative juices fresh.
Sure.
And give them these ideas, because I come up with a lot of great ideas, but I'm not a person that can sit there and draw. I'm not the tech guy, the developer guy that can go on and do it. I can come up with the idea, and then I spew the information to my team, and they make it happen. So it's, we're doing a lot of different things to stay positive, stay creative. Ted, you've known me for a few years now. You know how positive I try to be. And all of the stuff that I've posted out there, and the motivational stuff that I do, now is the time that a lot of people are being tested mental wise, and with their mental health, and humans were not meant to be confined in quarantine like this. So it's tough, it's challenging, but I know everybody out there, especially the people I know, stay strong, stay healthy, follow the guidelines, and just read. Read, be creative, find other ways to preoccupy yourself other than watch TV.
And how about you, Mike? What are you doing to stay positive and creative?
I've been blessed with quite a number of cases at my firm, so I've been able to stay pretty busy at work. Besides that, I just moved last weekend, and it's a really beautiful place, and so I'm decorating a little bit, moving the furniture around. Had a couple trips to the grocery store to store it up and pack down for the quarantine. And I don't know, I watched a Quentin Tarantino marathon the other day. I called it a Quarantino.
Oh boy.
Well, that'll get your juices going for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I know me and Bryan, a lot of people exercise too, and so it's disappointing that a lot of the gyms are closed. So a lot of home exercise stuff is nice too. Sure. There's a lot of cool, interesting.
Any stress reliever, I think.
Any stress reliever, yeah.
It works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so tell us again the website and how people can reach you all.
The website is www.orlandotippool.com. And again, we've been getting messages from donation recipients that we didn't even ask for that are just, it's heartbreaking. I'm a single mother. Thank you so much for doing this. We don't know how to afford groceries. We have students that have no idea how to pay their bill. They've got a moratorium right now on evictions and utility shutoffs. But the second that ends, Ted, now people have 3 months past due, 3 months of and they haven't been working. There's absolutely no way to have gotten that money. So they're going to end up in the same boat that they were in even before the eviction moratorium, So it's, please go to the website. Here's what I would ask. Obviously, nobody's been going to bars. Nobody's been going to restaurants. So think of the amount that you would have spent in tips last weekend. Had you gone to a bar, had you gone to a restaurant, just donate that. You go out, you have a nice dinner with friends, you spend $80, you would have tipped, 15, $20. Donate it. It's going to go to the people who need it, and it's to help make sure that they're around when everything settles down.
I love it. Bryan, I'm so glad you came to me with this. Orlando Tip Pool is an awesome idea. What a great way to collaborate and help out the community. Thanks, Bryan Whitehurst and Mike Grossman.
As always.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. OrlandoTipPool.com, and reach out to any of us and we will direct you to the right place. All right. Yep. Thanks, guys, so much. Appreciate
thanks,
it.
Ted.
Love
Appreciate
what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a great one.
You too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.